Hi guys, my name is Mandy Hunt. I'm the high school counselor at Prairie Grove High School, and today we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about the classes that you might be interested in taking next year. You're not signing up for classes. We are just strictly starting the process to begin thinking about your choices and what you might like to take. I know there's a lot of confusion right now, and this is a totally different situation than anything we've ever been in. And I know you guys probably have lots of questions. Your parents probably have lots of questions. We still have lots of questions. There's a lot of things that as a school, we don't know how things are going to, end up. And so this today is really just to start that process for you guys. On a typical school year, you would be in a classroom and the teacher would be playing this video for you, and you would have the survey up and kind of follow along as I go through each section. I'm going to walk you through the different areas of classes that we have, and hopefully give you some information that might answer some of your questions. We will have some parent meetings and some parent information go out in early May, the first couple of weeks of May. So, if you have questions, hold on to them and be thinking about them. So I know that you have probably already found the CAP conference page if you're watching this video, because that's where it's linked. But just to kind of get you through there, you go to pgtigers.org. That's our, the school homepage. You always go to schools and high school. That's going to get you to the high school site. If you don't go to the high school site, this next step is not going to work. And so you click on the menu on the high school site, and under the counseling department heading, there is a link for CAP Conferences 2020. And that's going to bring you here. This is the web page that I've made. We do still plan to do CAP conferences on May 20th. The time is probably going to be irrelevant now since everyone's at home. I do expect you as 8th graders to have contact from your high school advisors. You will have an advisor assigned to you for next year. They will hopefully contact you this spring and get with you and your parents virtually or over the phone to help walk you through how to do this and how to choose your classes. And it's going to be very important when it is time to choose your classes that it is correct. And so your advisor is going to help you do that. And so be looking for that in the next month or so to have that contact from your high school advisor. So if you wanted to look at this is our CAP planning book. It has information about all the classes. I'm going to skip through. You're going to see this document, classes for 9th graders, in just a second. But let's say you have a question about what's the difference between regular 9th grade English and pre-AP. Well, you can look at it there. You can read both class descriptions and see that there. If you are, what are we going to do in Spanish 1? That's what you're going to do in Spanish 1 right there. If you are thinking about engineering, this is the expectation for the first year engineering class, and these are the years after, so you can look ahead. So hopefully every class that you might be interested in would be in this CAP book. It's really hard to verify that that's the case, and so if you're looking for something and it's not there, please just let me know and we can get you the information. So in a normal day, in a normal school year, you would have this handout in front of you on a piece of paper. This is basically, and feel free to print this or do whatever, but these are the classes options that you have as a 9th grader, and it's just a handout. The survey that you guys are going to do in just a second kind of follows this format. And I'm going to walk you through each one because there are some confusing things. Athletics for 9th graders is very confusing. And so anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started. My video will be linked right here. I'm making it right now, so it's not done. But anyway, so click on the tiger picture, and that's going to take you to the survey. You may have to sign in with your school email, so go ahead and do that. And then once you get signed in, we're going to do last name, comma, first name. And then remember that your name is always capitalized. This is not a text message. You're not talking to your friends. This is a document that you are turning into your school. And so your name needs to be capitalized. It's always capitalized. It's a proper noun. And it also is very important and very helpful to us if you do your last name comma, first name. It helps us sort. It's way easier for us to tell who has not done the survey. If we have, it only sorts by one thing, and if you put your first name first, then it's going to be off kilter. So last name, comma, first name. So the very first thing that we're going to talk about is your English class. And so you basically have regular ninth grade English or pre-AP. The resource English is for students who are classified as special ed. And so even if you feel like you struggle in English, you can only take this resource English if you have that classification. So for the majority of you are going to be either regular ninth grade English or pre-AP. And I'll give you my little pre-AP spiel now. Our high school is very strong on academics, and that's one of the reasons why we make all of these national lists, the top high schools in the state and in the country and all that kind of stuff, is because our students are committed to academics. And part of that is because of our heavy participation in pre-AP and AP classes. And it's not for everyone, and we totally understand that, but we want you to do as much as you can possibly stand to do. And that is different for every kid. Some kid can do 3 AP classes, some kids can't do any, and that's totally fine. And that is a family decision. There's nothing wrong with doing no pre-AP or AP. If you have any kind of plan at all to go to college, we highly recommend you do some. Like I said, you don't have to go all in and do everything pre-AP and AP, but practice and that rigor in a high school setting is going to help you make that transition from high school to college. So you should know that in any pre-AP classes, the expectations are probably going to be a little bit higher as far as your performance, like what you're going to be expected to do, maybe read a little more, a little faster, write a little more, that kind of stuff. And so, but it's a great option for a lot of kids. It's good preparation for life after high school. But if you decide that you don't want to do pre-AP, that is totally fine. And also, it doesn't matter what you're in this year. If you're not in pre-AP English this year, but you want to be next year, please do. We want you to do that. If you're in pre-AP this year and you don't want to next year, that's okay too. So, but just know, here's my little kicker about pre-AP and AP. And you need to start hearing this now. Students that sign up for pre-AP or AP classes, it's open to anyone who wants to try it, but we don't let you out when it gets hard. So 99% of the time when a student wants out of a pre-AP or an AP class, it's because they don't want to do the work. It's not because they can't do the work. And so we make you stick to your commitment. And so it is very difficult to get out of a pre-AP and AP class because it is a commitment, and we do want, it's okay to be uncomfortable and it's okay to be a little bit stressed out about your schoolwork. Our teachers are great to work with you. You've got to communicate. You've got to communicate with your parents. Everyone communicate with the teacher, and anyway, that's how it works. If you sign up for pre-AP or AP, you're in there all year, even when it gets hard. All right, so here's math, and math gets a little bit sticky. Because you're all kind of doing something different. Some of you are in Algebra 1 this year. Some of you are in pre-algebra, and that's totally fine. And so if you are in pre-algebra this year, you have to take Algebra 1 next year. You cannot skip it. You have to have it. If you don't take Algebra 1 in the 8th grade, you have to take it in the 9th grade. And so that's going to be your only option if you're in pre-algebra. If you're in Algebra 1 this year, you can do geometry or pre-AP geometry, whichever one. That goes, my whole pre-AP spiel I just gave about English applies for math as well. It's the same geometry credit. It's just, do you want to be in a pre-AP class or do you want to be in the regular geometry class? And either one, like I said, is totally fine. It's whatever you want to do, whatever you think you can do. If you are a top math student and you really want to get to those high advanced classes as a junior and a senior, you could double up and do pre-AP geometry and pre-AP algebra 2 as a 9th grader. We don't recommend that. I would say there's only maybe 2 or 3 kids a year that can really handle that. And it's not just next year you've got to think about. You're going to be an AP Cal as a junior and the second year of AP Cal as a senior, and that's hard. And so if you're not going to want to do that, then don't double up. You have to take a math class every year, regardless of how many math credits you have. It only requires 4 for graduation, but we require that you take a math every single year. So think about that. You guys that did Algebra 1 this year, you're going to be an AP Cal as a senior or AP Stats. And so that's just kind of how it is. Even though you'll finish your 4 maths your junior year, you have to take a 5th math. So that's just kind of how it is. We have a class called Math Lab. If you struggle in math, if you feel like you're behind in some skills or need a little extra help, a little extra time, that is a class to work on those basic math skills and then time to work on your current math with a math teacher in the room. And so that is an option for you to sign up for. The teachers will kind of look to see who signed up and make sure that is really a class that you would benefit from. And part of that is your work ethic. If you've got to try and you've got to want to get better at math to be in Math Lab. All right, science. So this can get confusing as well. If you are in physical science this year, then you can take biology or pre-AP biology. If you are not in physical science, you have to take it as a ninth grader. You have to. You cannot skip physical science. So if you are in regular 8th grade science, your only choice next year is physical science. If you are in physical science as an 8th grader, you can do biology or pre-AP biology. Same blurb about pre-AP classes. So social studies. Most ninth graders do civics and economics. Please select both of those. Those are both semester classes. It's the same teacher, same class period, all that kind of stuff. So foreign language. You do not have to have foreign language to graduate. That has not been a requirement for like 12 years, but every year somebody comes to me and says, I have to have I haven't had foreign language, I have to have it to graduate. No, you do not. However, if there's any chance you might go to college, we recommend that you do 2 years of the same language for a couple of different reasons. One of them is some out-of-state colleges do require a foreign language for admission. Like you can't even get into the college unless you've had it. None of the colleges in Arkansas require it. Some majors, like I majored in history, I had to have 3 college level foreign language classes as part of my degree. If I had not had Spanish in high school, then I would have really been in trouble and taken that freshman Spanish class because when you walk into a college level foreign language, they assume you already know the basic vocab and the basic verb conjugation and all those things you learn in high school. And so if there's any chance at all that you might go to college, we highly recommend 2 years of the same language. And so actually, we are taking German off. I forgot about that. That won't be on your survey, but it's on the video, so sorry for the confusion. I forgot to delete that before I started. Okay, so athletics. Here is another thing that can get very confusing for ninth graders, because as a ninth grader, you can do junior high sports, which is, 8th and 9th grade, and then you can also do some senior high sports, which is like baseball, softball, soccer, tennis. Those things are 9 through 12. One team is 9 through 12, whereas football and basketball and volleyball, there's a junior high team and a senior high team. And so it is possible for you to do as much as you want to do, but we've got to know. And so we would like you to go through here and click the sports that you are interested in, that you think you might want to play. And here's something to know and to be on the lookout for. High school sports is like a different animal. It's not like Washington County League baseball. Like you can't just decide in November of your freshman year, I think I'm going to play baseball. Like they need to know now. You need to be doing the stuff in the summer. You need to be connected with the coach and the team and all that. And so for a ninth grader doing a high school sport, it's very, very important that you communicate with the coach and they know that you want to play. In a regular school year, those coaches would come over to the 8th graders and kind of talk to you if you had an interest in those sports, because they do stuff in the summer and they work out. They have, they do things. They have camps and all that. And so you need to be involved in that. So keep that in mind. If you think you might want to play soccer or softball or baseball, volleyball starts practice in the summer. Football starts practice in the summer. You can't show up the first day of school and say, I think I'm going to play football. You've already missed a month and a half of stuff by then. And so it's very important that if you decide that you want to play, that you communicate with those coaches. So also, these classes are all year long. Volleyball will be all year. And then cross country and tennis are just semester classes. So if you are going to play tennis, and it's only in the fall, you have to have another semester class for the spring. And that kind of brings me to something as we are, getting towards the end of this. It's very important that you're focusing on your 8 periods of classes. And so if you pick speech, which is a semester class, you've got to have something to go on the other half of that. And so we do have just a few options of semesters: health, PE, speech, art, visual art appreciation. Those are all semester classes that 9th graders can take. You don't have to take them as a 9th grader. You do have to have these to graduate, but you don't have to have them in the 9th grade. And so you can put them off. Speech is a 9 through 12 class. And so if you take speech as a 9th grader, you will be in class with seniors and you will have to stand up in front of them and speak. And so if you think that you would be afraid to do that, then don't take speech as the 9th grader, because that's what you're going to have to do. It's a requirement of the class. If you sign up for it and you get in there, there's no getting out of it. So keep that in mind. Fine art, you have to have a semester of a fine art to graduate. Sometime before you graduate, it does not have to be in the 9th grade. We have art, we have theater, we have choir and band and jazz band. And music lab as well can be at your fine art credit. So let me tell you about visual art appreciation though. This is for the kid who does not like to draw, they don't do band, and they don't do choir. This is a way for you to get your fine art credit. It's kind of like art, like a light art. You still have to do things, you still projects, but it's not the it doesn't require the artistic talent that like an Art 1 class would require. Like in Art 1, you're graded on your artistic ability, basically. Visual art appreciation is smaller projects and things like that. It is a way for you to get your fine art credit. Music lab is for those kiddos that want to learn to play a harmonizing instrument, but it is only for a semester as well, but that could count as your fine art credit. So this is something new this year for 9th graders. We've always had these classes, but for you guys, you're the first year of classes of kids that have to take a career class as a 9th grader. So you have to choose one of these 6 classes. You can choose more than one if you want. We have plenty of kids who are doing family consumer science and intro to ag, or engineering and survey of business. You can do more than one, but you have to choose at least one of these classes. Family consumer science is the prerequisite to all of those other classes like foods and lifespan development, things like that. Introduction to agriculture is the prerequisite for ag mechanics, for animal science, vet science, any of those classes in that area. You have to have intro to ag first. I know some of you as 8th graders took 8th grade ag. That does not count. Like, you have to take intro to ag as a 9th grader to get that prerequisite for those future classes. Survey of business is Word, Excel, PowerPoint. There is an option even for 9th graders to earn college credit through NWAC. You have to pay for it. It's about $150. You have to have the correct test scores for NWAC and things like that to qualify, but you can earn college credit. And this is a class that almost every major has to have. And so it is a pretty good class to take in high school. Survey of business. This is the prerequisite for other business classes like marketing and marketing management and things like that. Foundations of Healthcare, if you're interested in the medical field at all, this is a great class to start with. It could be distance learning through Virtual Arkansas. If we can't fit our nursing instructor, she will have a section of that this year, but if we can't fit that into your schedule, you could possibly be in the distance learning. We've done it through distance learning about the last 4 or 5 years, and it's been fairly successful if you're a serious student. Intro to Engineering is the first year of our 4-year Project Lead the Way engineering classes. So if you're interested in engineering field at all, this is a great class. Even if you don't know, if you're confused about I don't know what I want to do, and that's totally fine. Intro to Engineering is a great class to start with. It's a lot of critical thinking, a lot of problem solving, and things like that. So, and then we also have computer science with programming and coding. So if you're interested in that area, then you could take that. But you have to choose at least one of these to take as a 9th grader. These intro career classes, you have to. Some other electives that we have EAST. We're trying out the interest in mapping and videography. We have a drone class. You can learn to fly drones and maybe even get that certification, and then journalism as well. And then the last thing is our intervention classes. We have a class called academic reading, but that is for students who have been identified with dyslexic qualities only. English language learner, if English is not your first language and you need some support there. And then critical reading is for students who are more than one grade level behind on reading. And let me tell you this. Um, well, we're not going to have test scores this year because you did not take the ACT Aspire, but if we as a school determine that you are more than one grade level behind on your reading based on whether it's MAT test or last year's reading test from ACT Aspire, you could possibly land in this class whether you want it or not. And so, but if you think that's something that you would be interested in, you know, reading is the foundation for every class. And if you struggle in reading, then might be a great class for you to take. So before you hit submit, please go back through and check your check marks. Make sure you have 8 periods, not 4, not 15, but 8 periods worth of stuff. And everything is 1 period unless it tells you it's a semester. Like civics and econ is a semester. If you take both of those, that accounts for 1 full period. If you do health and PE, that counts for 1 full period. You can't just do health and not have something else on the other side of it. And so, you know, 2 semesters equals 1 period. And so we're looking for 8 periods worth of stuff. So take 1 second and go through that and just double check it and then hit submit. And then you should be done. And so be on the lookout for more information about CAP conferences. I will have a parent presentation I'm going to put online. I'll have a couple of Zoom meetings in evenings and maybe even a Sunday afternoon for you or your parents to join in and ask specific questions. We will be doing more to get you ready for CAP conferences, so I don't want you guys stressing about it. There's still plenty of time, but it is time to start thinking and it is time to start narrowing down some choices. And so please don't hesitate to send me an email. It's just mandy.hunt@pgtigers.org. And you know, we can help and answer questions and all that good stuff, but don't worry. And just be on the lookout for communication from your advisor. And anyway, I guess just that's all I have to say. And let me know if you have any questions or if you guys need anything. And I will hopefully see you again real soon. Okay? All right. Bye-bye.